Right, folks, you're back again with us, and right now we will explore the devastating floods that recently affected northern Thailand, and we will also highlight an inspiring community initiative that aims to provide food aid to those affected by the recent floods in northern Thailand. How communities are coming together to help their neighbors in need.
As we learn of the incredible efforts being made to ensure that no one goes hungry during these challenging times, joining us right here online in Bangkok Community, from the Bangkok Community Health Foundation founders, straight from Bangkok, we have Mr. Friso Poldavart and Mr. Greg Lang. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Of course, this is such a devastating discussion that we need to convey right now, but it needs to be done so then the public would be aware, especially right here in the Southeast Asia region. In regards to this, right here in the Sea Today's Network, we've been catering and also delivering of the natural disaster that is happening throughout the region, including in Thailand. We know now the heavy rainfall, and we know also because of the water level that is rising high, there are some floodings that is happening right there in Thailand. Can you share with us right now the current situation, though, in regards of floods, especially and where you're at right now in the northern Thailand?
So at the moment, there's around 5 provinces that still are flooded, and this is in the central Thailand region. So we had incredibly difficult times up in the north. I mean, this is the most hit of all places in Thailand. Total of 250,000 homes affected. So luckily, the water levels in the north are down, but water needs to flow. So it's flowing down through central Thailand. It needs to end up in Bangkok, Ayutthaya, these kind of places. So we're not there yet, but I think it's safe to say that the worst is over. So that's the good news for this morning.
Right. That's good news indeed. So, gentlemen, I'd like to ask you, so which areas have been affected most by the the recent floodings?
100% in the northern part of Thailand, especially like in Mae Sai. They had a lot of trees that were recently cut down, and the mud is just incredible. So the aftermath, the flood is gone. It started August 16th, but the mud is still there in many, many homes, and that's where our team is involved with, is getting it out of the people's homes, because it can be over 1 meter deep in many homes. And so, yeah, you can't take equipment in there. It's just manual labor getting it out.
And Mr. Fraser and Greg, if you please do share with us, how is actually the infrastructure right there, especially on these 5 regions you were saying that usually when these hard times, it's very, it becomes really hard for them with all the floods and whatnot. How is actually the infrastructure? Because like here in Indonesia, sometimes we know there's this rainy season, or when the change of seasons, we do have more downfall of rain, and we have to be prepared for that. Is this something that the government has actually been doing to kind of prevent and have a mitigation plan in regards to the floods, especially on this kind of seasons in Thailand?
I mean, this is the worst flood in 100 years, if you look at the north, right? So that nobody has ever, been prepared for this, unfortunately. I mean, when we speak with people there and when we help people there, they tell us that from ground level to 3 meters water level, took only 30 minutes. So you can imagine how fast that water has been rising. Complete villages, complete houses are gone, bridges are gone. So the infrastructure is in some places, especially again on the north end, still difficult. The government is of course doing everything they can, but this is the job of all of us. So we all need to get involved and try and help. A lot of villages are cut off by landslides. You can see, there's one road access to a village up high in the mountains. If there's a landslide there, it means that nobody can reach this village. So we have been going to villages that have been cut off for 7 days, for 10 days from the outside world. No electricity, no water. So definitely it's still very critical. If you look at the places that are flooded now, central Thailand, similar things. I mean, people are just complete communities are underwater, which means a lot of elderly are stuck in their homes. They cannot go out, they cannot go anywhere. So we need to reach them with boats, bring them medicine, bring them water, all these kind of things. So, infrastructure just stops to exist when these kind of things happen. And then with, mud levels of 1 meter, 2 meters sometimes, you need to go in and take this mud out, you know, kilo by kilo, so to say. So it's a very difficult, very painstaking, very timely effort.
Right, right. So we're curious, how are the residents coping with the devastating situation right now?
You know, you see many homes and many businesses that are wiped out. And when I say wiped out, I mean there's nothing left in the house or the business. So when it comes to a business, of course, their income is gone and their employees that they employed. As far as individual homes, but you know, the thing is that the people still have a smile on their face, even though they're no longer at their house because it's full of mud. But little by little, they have the resolve to get back. So the good news is that, you know, the water is gone. It's just a cleanup in the process. And, you know, a lot has happened over the last month and even the last days. So it's getting better. So they need the tourism, that's for sure. But when we're talking like Chiang Mai, I think Chiang Mai is fully recovered, even though that flood was recent, just a couple weeks ago. You know?
Is the recovery, I think that will take more time, I suppose, for the community?
In a certain area like Mae Sai, you know, that's where it's really bad. But as far as Chiang Mai, you know, if a tourist was to go there today, they wouldn't even really notice that much as far as the flooding. So, you know, it's a lot better in that area. It's just the Mae Sai had the big mud issue, and that's where we're concentrating.
We're very relieved to hear from both of you, knowing that the spirit of the people there are still very high-spirited, despite whatever situation and devastating kind of current events they had to went through. In regards to this, so through Bangkok Community Help Foundation, what are the relief efforts being organized and the assistance that is being provided, not only the post of the, you know, the recovery time of the post-flooding time, but also before, when the floods or the water levels was rising up and you were trying to help as many people as you can?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's right. There's two parts of this, you know, situation. First part is, okay, it's flooded, you know, people are stuck in their homes. What do we do? So we go in there, we bring essentials, food, medicine, drinking water. You gotta understand, once this happens, electricity falls away immediately.
Correct.
Fresh water falls away immediately. So these things are very important. So that's kind of like part one. Okay, make sure that these people survive through this flood time, right? That means also rescuing people out of their homes. I mean, there's so many different situations happening at that moment. Then when the water goes down, then it's time for us to come in and say, okay, now what can we do? Okay, big cleanup, of course. But there's a lot of people, like Greg mentioned, that lost everything. That means suddenly you're a family with 4 kids and you do not have a bed to sleep on anymore. Your kids do not have a school uniform anymore, meaning they are not able to go to school. So all of these things need to go very quick. So that's why, you know, we're handing out a lot of mattresses, we're handing out a lot of clothes, things that people need in order to get back on their feet. For businesses, we try and help them with, okay, if you had a coffee shop, here is a clean coffee shop that we clean and a coffee machine. You're a sewing company or somebody, you know, altering clothes, here's a new sewing machine. So all of these things are about, okay, let's get people back on their feet as soon as possible. And Greg mentioned it, we don't want to paint a very dramatic picture, because a lot of Thailand really needs people in the Southeast Asia region that are watching to come to Thailand. So don't be worried like, oh my God, it's flooded everywhere. No, there's some places that need a lot of help. There's many places you can come safely. And we need you in Thailand right now. So please come.
I see.
Oh, thank you for being the ambassador for Thailand. We love that.
Yeah, we love that.
We love, you know, we love Thailand too, by the way.
Of course, yes.
Of course.
So,
Thank you.
Aside from you guys, are there other NGOs that is also participating in helping the communities? And how about the national government? Do you guys also collaborate with them?
Yes, actually, we work hand in hand with the Royal Thai Army. Many houses we work together, and so it's a joint effort. As far as when it comes to survivor bags, They point out where we should go, what area needs to be done. We're always checking in with the district because they're the eyes and the ears of what's happening. And so information is key, and we listen to them and we work together.
And also with the other NGOs and also the government, are you planning to somewhat collaborate together for sharing to the communities what they have to prepare? Even though, Mr. Greg, you were saying before, this this flood, this is like beyond in the history itself. It's like a century that there's floods like this before, but we need to keep the community because rains and monsoon seasons and these kind of seasons are very common right here in Southeast Asia. So do you, in your foundation also, in your community, is helping the people to be aware of this kind of seasons and this natural disaster that happens very frequently in our region?
Well, I think they're well aware but there's always been some flooding, but it's never been to this extent.
Yeah.
And they're talking 100-year events. So hopefully it's another 100 years before that happens again. But I think the odds are high that because the world is changing. You see, there's floods around the world. So at the end of the day, yes, we encourage as far as different viewpoints as far as changing it. So this doesn't happen. They're talking about early warning systems. Because people were affected where you'd hear that all the time. I never thought that it would ever reach this level. And I never thought that it would get up so high, and we were fearing our lives.
Wow.
It's always a learning moment. We need to learn from what happened, right? Nobody wants this. So
of course.
That starts really with, proper water management. Of course, the water is coming mostly from the sky, but I mean, the water can be managed in certain directions. And these things shouldn't be a surprise. It shouldn't be when you open a dam that you're surprised about the amount of water that's coming out at the other end, right?
Right.
So these things, of course, everybody's learning from, and it should never happen again. And if it happens, which it probably will, then early warning system, which is in the works actually right now, where people receive mass SMSs. But again, like I told you, from 0 to 3 meters in 30 minutes. No SMS is gonna help you in that situation. So I think we're also in a very, very extreme situation in this case. But always need to learn from what happened in the past. Otherwise, it's gonna happen exactly the same.
In Mayside, they're talking about how there could be so much mud, and they basically traced it down that a lot of trees were cut down because they were growing corn, and they realized that the trees were important to not have this mud in the town like this. So they're going to go back and plant trees, but of course that takes time.
Oh, that's great news to hear.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's great news, but of course, it's devastating to just see and hear about how northern Thailand is doing right now. Is there any personal stories that you received from the locals, from residents impacted by the floods? Can you share with us?
Yeah, there's so many. I think generically it's just every time when we meet someone or when we talk with someone, we stand in, let's say, their house. There's literally nothing left. It's all dirty, full of mud. And people manage to find a water bottle and give it to you. You know what I mean? So it's like it's this spirit of like, okay, we're all in this together, and we see this over and over again. People lost everything, and still they're trying to give you something. Maybe a bottle of water, maybe even a hug. Right? We see a lot of people crying, but the silver lining is that it shows humanity, right? And it shows that everybody, has to come together to try and solve this situation. And people here already look at the future. They're already looking, okay, what can I do to make my life back to normal, right? Instead of staying in what happened. So, the resilience of this country, these people, it shines through every time something like this happens.
Yeah.
And this is always the takeaway of everything. Like, it's just, we salute everybody. for being so resilient and being so powerful in a situation that's just, frankly speaking, incredibly horrible.
And of course, we salute you,
We're talking about the Messiah area.
Yeah.
And again, we're also saluting you, Mr. Greg, and also Mr. Fristo, and also your team along in Bangkok Community Help Foundation. You're not only a big help for the locals and community, but you are the big heart that keeps and empowers the community right there in Thailand. As we heard that your community received award from City Foundation's 2024 Global Innovation Challenge to combat homelessness in Bangkok, Thailand. So congratulations is in order. Thank you very much for your action. Thank you very much for your initiative. Please do share about your achievement and what this initiative is all about.
Sure, yeah. So we're, of course, very active in Bangkok. I mean, we're Bangkok Community Health Foundation, but anywhere where there is a situation, we help you go. So we're very worried about the homeless in Bangkok. And the majority of homeless, unfortunately, is elderly in Thailand. This is because the elderly do not receive enough support. This is a very complex story. I will not go in too much, but it means that elderly are ending up on the street. We're helping these elderly for the past 855 days. We're bringing them meals, we're bringing them water, medicine, anything they need. But we want to solve this problem for them. We want to make sure that these people are able to re-enter back into society. So we're building the first ever inner city homeless shelter in Bangkok, where you not only find shelter, but you're also able to learn new skills. You also get mental support. You're also able to, reunificate with your family, all these different things. So Citibank, City Foundation, saw this initiative and said, okay, we love this, so we will support you. So for us, this is an incredible honor, of course, and it's a great push in the right direction. It's only the beginning, though, of course. I mean, it's an amazing springboard. So, yeah, this is what the Innovation Award for Homelessness is all about, tackling homelessness, and this is what we're trying to do.
Right.
We want to get the people back into the job market, and teach them the vocational skills. And I think that, that's the one thing that we're very, very excited about.
Oh, you're shaping a bright future for the people in Thailand. Great to hear that, sir.
Yes, that's true. So are there any more plans that you are planning to do with the foundation other than what you've mentioned?
Well, we're always have our fingers in a lot of different projects. There's always something that's happening, but the main thing is to educate. That's the great equalizer. We recently built a library. We feel that knowledge is power.
Amazing.
And so the more that we can teach the kids English and to get them into a better job situation, to get them out of the slum community, then it's a lot better. And so that's what we're geared on.
It's great to hear, because we know major cities in every part of the Southeast Asia region were very modernized, but there are some outskirts, especially in those regions or in the rural areas, that needs to be equalized, that they can have the same education and also the same chances to have a better life. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Fristo Poldevart, and also Mr. Greg Lang from the Bangkok Community Health Foundation. Thank you very much for your initiative. Thank you very much for your dedication and your action. And please do send our love and our heart to our brothers and sisters in Thailand. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. Bye now.
Bye. See you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, folks. So that is from the Bangkok Community Help. And right now we're gonna have a short break, and after the break we'll have more interesting stories from around the world. So stay here on the Honestly Morning Show.